The United States, proudly referred to as the land of opportunities, is a hard nut to crack without courage, hard work, and hope. Thousands of Africans every year leave their home countries in pursuit of greener pastures here in America, making up 3.9% of the 38.5 million immigrants. To many, getting a green card or visa is the beginning of paradise until they set foot here in America. Home Away from Home is a television series that follows up on their journey as they fight tooth and nail to make it here in the U.S. I'm your host, Nikita. If I tell you my dream, you might forget it. If I act on my dream, perhaps you'll remember, is one of my favorite African sayings. In today's episode, I am honored to have Yunus Ayoub, an immigrant from Uganda, who, like the saying goes, acted on his dream to move to the United States. He is a bachelor's degree holder in graphics design. Mr. Yunus Ayoub, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, now, how did it all start? Take us through your journey. You know, like, when did you get the idea to move here?
Well, I'm a well-traveled guy. I've traveled to several countries, and in between my travels, it was my dream to be able to pursue something big. And pursuing something big, I said, you know what? I had a chance, and I had offers to go to Japan and Sweden, right. But I decided, you know what? Let me try out the big land of America.
All right, now, how long would you say you've been here, and like, have you been back home or anything?
Oh yeah, sure. I've been back home several times.
Oh, that's awesome. How often do you go back home?
Well, it depends. Sometimes not. I've been here for quite some time, I would say. Mm-hmm. That I've not traveled back home. It's okay. I could say that it was kind of difficult when I lost my mom and dad and I was not there.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
But then, hey, I've been on and off and here in LA since '98.
Oh, wow.
So
that's it's a few years.
Yeah, that is a few years.
Oh, wow. Good, but good for you. So obviously you like it here, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I have been across so many different states. I could count off about 46 states that I have visited.
Oh.
So that's a lot of states.
And when you visit the states, is it for work? Is it for school? Like, what is it for? Are you still in school, by the way, or are you completely done?
I'm completely done, but as we grow old,
right?
As we grow, you never stop learning.
Right, that's what I'm under the impression, because out here, school never ends in America. You always have to go to school. But on that, now, since you said you're a well-traveled guy and everything, and you know, obviously you've been back and forth and you've gone to Uganda a lot of times, what prompted you to finally make the final move and stay in America?
Because I still wanted to pursue what right now I'm doing, and that is cinematography.
Ah, that's interesting. Now, how long have you been doing this for?
Well, I've been doing this since 2009.
Oh, wow, so you got a couple years in the back of your hand?
Yes.
Nice for you, good for you, good for you. And so through all that, with cinematography, would you say it's the same as, with graphic design, or is it better?
Well, I believe it's an extension from where I carry from, like graphic designing. So going forward is that, like, hey, in cinematography, you have to be an all-rounder. Mm-hmm. So being an all-rounder, you can be able to do graphic designing. I've designed a couple of posters for some companies,
right,
for movies. That's part of graphic designing. But
that's
then
true.
I said, you know, I'll take it the whole caboodle. That means that, hey, from being a grip to doing the electrical part to being able to do everything all the way to editing.
Yeah, I like that word, caboodle. How would you spell that?
Caboodle is Kaboodle. That's caboodle, means the whole bundle.
The whole
some
package.
Call it the whole enchilada.
Whole enchilada, I like that. I learned a new word today. Anyway, so African immigrants continue to do all that it takes to get to the United States. Some will end up selling their pieces of land, and others will fake marriages in order to get U.S. citizenship. And Home Away from Home is a television series that tries to find out why there's such an increase in African immigrants here in the United States. How did you get through everything that you've been going through right now?
Now, when I first arrived in the U.S., I lived in New York, Harlem, New York.
Oh, okay.
But then the renaissance of New York had begun. That's, in other words, I had newer buildings and people were trying to reinvigorate Harlem. as a city,
Right.
as part of Manhattan. So it was difficult in the beginning. So what I had to do is that, hey, I had to go back to school
Right.
to be able to get recertified in some of the things that I wanted to do. And graphic designing, I found out that, hey, so long as you have your portfolio, you can be able to do a lot better than
Right.
just trying to go and seek a job. Because out here, it's hands-on. That's the American system. It's a hands-on system whereby they barely look at your credentials. But if you have them and you have the street smarts and you know what to do,
Right.
hands-on, that's the best way to pick it up here in America.
Okay, awesome. Now, street smarts is usually, for those of you who aren't aware, usually like how you'd get around. There's book smarts and then there's street smarts. Book smarts, in class, you're on top of everything. Street smarts out there, you may not have as many book smarts, but you know what's going on in the streets and you could get yourself around the entire place like that. So going on from there, now tell us about the culture shock that you had in 1998 when you came here. How is it so different from being in Uganda and then moving here?
You know what? It was really, really a culture shock, because when I got here, there's some things that in the American English, which is different from the
Yes.
Magister's English. That's a big culture shock, because in Africa we call it chips. When you come here, it's fries.
Right, that's very true. That's very true.
One of the funny things, I want to buy a card for my mom,
Right.
a birthday card. So when I got to the store, I remember it was a Rite Aid store in Manhattan. And I went ahead and asked, where's the card section? And they said, what? Several guys,
Right.
I asked them, they couldn't understand exactly what I meant by
Because
card.
of the accent, right.
Because of the accent. But then I ended up, somebody who was from Ghana, I think he was from Ghana.
Right.
And he said, no, you know what? Out here it's called a card. So that was kind of shocking to me that I had to change from Her Majesty's English to the American English accent.
Right.
It's kind of difficult, but you have to get used to it, because Americans are not as good in listening to foreign languages.
No, I have to agree with you on that. I really do.
So that is when I had to know, okay, you know what? I have to be able to go back to school, refine my accent to the American standard so that I can be able to, I would say, fit in. Because
Right.
the first job that I did, the second job that I did, I was also a debt collector over the phone.
Oh, wow.
I was doing that at the same time.
So you really had to know how to pronunciate like certain words and certain things.
Yeah. And a
See.
lot of things I had to do them by way of, you know what, I'm street smart and I got the book smart in my head. So hey, I had relatives, so it wasn't that difficult. But then there was a lot of culture shock. Even dating, to find somebody to date, it's way different from Africa than dating here.
Right. Yes, that much I definitely know. I could relate to that. Not that I dated in Africa, I was so young, but I growing up and everything, I kind of saw how my cousins and all of them dated, and then coming out here and being thrown in the midst of everything, I kind of was just kind of like, whoa, okay, so this is what's going on. But I eased my way into it, seeing as to how I was here when I was younger, so it was a lot easier for me. And I can relate to the whole accent thing, because elevator is called lift. And then you have torch for flashlight. So there are a lot of things that I could definitely relate to.
Well, even the food part of it is cultural. It's different, because the only food that more like resembles the food that I was used to even eating in Africa, because from my own family, I'm a multicultural person, because my mom is from Tanzania.
Right.
But then, originally, they're from South Africa. That's what I came to
That's
find out.
interesting.
And my dad is half a Tanzanian and he's half a Ugandan. So I'm kind of mixed up with
All over,
cultures
right.
in Africa. So the food is like, okay, I'm used to spicy food, so I had to go to Asian or Indian restaurants.
Right.
Then the real African food, sometimes, okay, I would go to Southern food, where they sell Southern food.
Right.
South of America, south of Tennessee is known as South of America.
Right.
So if somebody says they're from South, that means that they're from Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Louisiana,
Right.
Mississippi. So I would go to both and eat the food, and it was good. So, excuse me, I enjoyed both cultures.
You
So,
love that southern home cooking.
oh yeah, I love the southern home cooking.
Southern home cooking. How do you like that compared to LA, where everyone's on vegetables and kale? You have to live by kale and make sure that's all you eat.
You know what? It's wonderful because, hey, you have to watch out on your diet.
That's true. That's very true. In Africa, the one thing I do love and appreciate is everything is grown right in your backyard. And it's organic, fresh. I mean, you know what you're putting in your body as opposed to getting all the processed foods that we have here. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But nonetheless, we got off track a little bit. Let's get back on track. Let me find out more about you. Now, earlier you told me that you had a career change and you had to go from being a graphic designer to cinematography. What prompted you to do that, and what was the difference, and how did you get there?
I still got a couple of documentaries to make.
Got it.
Forward. But then I have to go back to exactly why did I have this mind.
Right.
My late mom had to go through when Idi Amin was being overthrown, President Idi Amin was being overthrown, my mom and her family, right?
Right.
I was in school, right? I was still young, but I was in school. And when they had to take the last train from Kampala train station going towards Nairobi. So there's a documentary on the back of my mind. I won't say what I'm trying to do, but then it prompted me to say, you know what? I've got to tell my mother's story. It's a long story, but then it'll be made into a documentary.
Right.
So that has made me to think twice about, okay, what am I doing? Because everybody in the middle of your years, you come to think of it, okay, what can I do to advance even Africa? Because there's a lot of things, a lot of documentaries that people in Africa can be able to do. But then we didn't have all these cameras like we do have right now, which are cheap and everybody can go out and film.
Right, and everything's on your phone.
It's on your phone. So my mind is, hey, excuse me, I got to do something professional.
That's true.
I don't want to go out there and pick up any camera and go on the street and do a documentary.
Right.
I want to do something presentable. And to do it, you must go through the whole process of learning from being an intern all the way up to being able to produce. And not only produce and be able to edit, because, hey, I want to do my thing and I want to do it the way I want it done.
Do you have any advice for any graphic designers or cinematographers out there? You know, because your story is very inspiring.
You know, what it is exactly is that you have to have the book smart.
Right.
You have to be educated before you come to the U.S. That's a very challenging thing, because if you come here and you're not educated, excuse me, you're going to end up as a semi-skilled worker.
Right.
You're not going to
Advance.
really pen out and advance and be able to help your people back home.
Right.
Or even advance yourself, because, hey, it's difficult. America has a lot of people. And every day there are thousands and thousands of people who come all the way from the world coming to America to be able to realize their dream. Hey, if you decided to make the move,
Right.
get the visa, and be able to come to America, be prepared. One, to be able to be shocked.
I like that.
Second thing is to be prepared to work at any job, because by the time you get through that, hey, you know what? Am I here to work? You should be able to pick up and go.
Right.
It's not to be out there and thinking, okay, you be choosy on jobs. In the beginning, you just do any job and make sure that you stay focused, because your dreams might get sidetracked. If you decide to get sidetracked and be taken away by the flow of the American system, excuse me, you will never realize your dreams.
That's true.
Make
That's
sure
very
that
true.
you still go back to school if you want to go back to school and increase on what you already have. Because the more you're educated, the more you educate yourself, the more you'll be more employable. You'll have more chances at working at better jobs than just being a semi-skilled person.
Right. That's a great answer. And, you know, to add on to that, that's a great answer from a great man. To add on to that, you know, you always have to do certain things to keep pushing yourself, because like he said, you're never really done with school, no matter what anyone tries to tell you or anyone does. I mean, I know doctors that are still going to school. I know of lawyers that are still going to school. So you just sort of have to always push yourself, I guess, you know, to reach that limit. But at the end of it all, there really isn't a limit. And adding on top of all that, for myself personally, you know, I live in LA. I've been in LA since I came out here to the United States. And last year I decided to make a move and just kind of go to Boston. And I saw, you know, everything is different out there. Cultures are completely different out there. Everyone in LA is, you know, about their own thing and let's go, 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 go. And everyone's Boston's all about school. But at the same time, we're all kind of united by one thing. We all have jobs. We all go to school. We all are after our dreams, and we all keep pushing and pursuing what we dream of pursuing. Wisdom does not come overnight, and so is success, is one of my favorite Somali proverbs. Now, Yunus, you coming to the States was a journey you started in the hopes of getting successful. However, every story does have two sides to it. And I want you to get us through how you came to this and how, you know, the hard parts of it, the parts where you look back and you think, you know, I wouldn't have been able to do this if I wasn't in America.
A lot of things I've experienced that I've gained are not, I would have not have acquired the knowledge if I had been in Africa.
Okay.
I know for those who are aspiring to come to America and you're a graphic designer, get your act together.
Yes.
Get your portfolio together. Even if you're a doctor,
That's
when
true.
you come here to the US, you're going to be recertified to be able to work. Because the medications are different, the treatments are different,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So even the names of the medications are different.
Yeah.
But then the good thing with cinematography and graphic designing is the same language. It's about letters, it's about the visual part of it. So if you can be able to transition from there, it would be wonderful. I've seen nurses. The nurses also have to go back and get tested again.
Yes, they do.
So that they can be able to work in the field. It's not the same field, but generally it is. Looking at it from outside,
Right.
it's the same field. But then when you dig deeper into it, you really have to be on your game.
All right, so what is it that you did out here that you weren't able to do in Uganda?
I was able to network with a lot of people in the industry, in graphic designing,
Right.
to be able to design posters for movies, and also to be able to advance in my dreams of being a cinematographer. In Africa, I don't think I would have been able to do it. In the years that I was back in Uganda, I don't think I would have attained or been at the level that I am at right now. Because right now, from what I can be able to do and be able to produce, in Uganda or in Africa,
Right.
it's still a long dream away. Then also, even if you're a graphic designer, in Africa, it's still a long way because you might even need your own equipment.
That's very true.
And here, you can buy equipment. When you work hard, you get to buy your own equipment and you can work even from your home. And that's something that is really awesome. This experience that I have attained by being in America for so long, I don't think I could pay anything to go back and not get it. I would still love to do this experience again because it's been a growing experience. As I grow, so does my experience grow. And I
Right.
feel proud that I am who I am right now. I have been able to help my family, right? Though my mom and dad, like I said, they passed on, but I have been able to help my brothers and sisters. I do have brothers and sisters here
Right.
in America, in Europe. So, we pull together as Africans and help each other. And that's one thing that I'm so proud of being, is that we pull together as Africans. Even if I don't know you, but
Right.
you're referred by somebody who is known to me, I can be able to help you as much as I can and guide you along since I've been here a long time.
Yes, we're all like one big family.
Yep.
That's awesome. And now I'm going to ask you a series of few questions, kind of like our rapid fire moments. I want to know your most favorable moment or your favorite moment since you've been in the U.S. The best day or best thing you've ever had is in the U.S., So I kind of want you to fill me in. So what's your favorite moment?
My favorite moment when I was able to know that, you know what, I'm here in the land of the free, and I can be able to do almost anything that I can be able to do and not break the law.
That's awesome. Yes, let's not break the law. Yes, that's awesome. That's great. Next question. What's your favorite day since you've been here? I mean, I guess it would be the day you got here, but I'm sure you have another day.
You know what? I'll tell you the first day I got here. When I got to New York, I took from JFK, that's JFK Airport, I took the bus, shuttle,
Right.
to Times Square. As soon as I got off the bus, I went down to get my luggage, and I got one of those African baskets. While I was trying to get in the cargo hold to get out my luggage, my sister, I didn't know she was already there. She kind of reached into my pocket and tried to pull out something. That was scary. I said, now I've arrived in America and somebody's pickpocketing me already?
I love it. I love it. I'm sure. You know what? I wish we all had great stories like that. All right, next question is going to be biggest culture shock, except for, of course, you know, the accent and everything. What's your biggest culture shock since 1998?
Well, since 1998, besides the food, even people, we speak different and we understand differently.
Right.
The Americans have a way of understanding things that is not common to people who are brought up like or raised in the British culture. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like two different worlds, but we all speak English.
Right.
And still that English in a way separates us. Even just the synopsis of
Right.
anything that you're trying to do is way different. And when you look at it, there's a different perspective. Life has different perspective. And people out here in America, they are fast movers.
Yes.
I lived in New York, a city that never sleeps.
Yes.
People move
very
so
much so.
fast. It's a little bit laid back here on the West Coast.
It is very, very. There's a huge difference. Out there, it's go, go, go. Out here, it's, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go do some yoga. I'm going to work out, you know. And in New York, it's completely different. All right, my next question for you right now is going to be the biggest regret you've had, you know, or anything that you miss about Africa.
You know what? Really, I miss a lot about Africa. Mm-hmm. The beaches out there, at least the ones that I've been to, they're open 24 hours.
Yes.
Beaches here in the U.S., they are only open until about 6 p.m. or dawn.
That's
when
true.
When it gets dark, you're off the beach. Then in the beaches in Africa, you can cook on the beach, you can bring your food and eat on the beach.
Right.
But out here, food is restricted and nobody sells any food on the beach. I love being outdoors. I'm an outdoors person.
Right.
My main regret, and it's not being able to go and bury my mom and dad.
Of course. I'm so sorry about that.
But hey, I know they're looking after me and God is looking after me, and I've never regretted anything that I have been here because it's been a wonderful experience being in America by itself.
That's true, and like they say, experience is the best teacher. Now the last rapid question I have for you is, what is something that Africa has over the U.S.?
Well, you know what? There are a lot of things. Africa is still a virgin continent.
That's true.
By way of the resourceful people, right? The people in Africa can still do a lot and they can still get away with a lot of things that you can't do here in the U.S.
Yes.
Out there, some people I know, they take it for granted that, oh, we still have time. But out here, you have to be on time and everything runs on time. Africa, you can still go long ways. You can still develop Africa in a lot of fields. There's still a lot of virgin land. You can still develop. There's still schools that need to be put out there.
Yes.
There's still stories that can still be told about Africa by Africans, other than somebody going out with a video camera and getting kids who are malnourished, looking really, really almost close to death, with flies all over their mouth. There's a positive image about Africa, then Africa itself can tell the story of Africa.
Right.
And not the story of Africans being told by somebody else.
That's true, and I guess that's why you'd be grateful for this show, because that's exactly what we're trying to portray. Is we're not trying to portray that side of Africa. We're trying to portray the side where a lot of people don't get to see, and you actually have the chance to see, you know, a businessman in a suit and everything, dressed up right here next to me, interviewing him, telling us about his struggles and everything of that sort. It's hard, yes, but at the end of the day, we all have our own struggles and we all come from somewhere. Thank you so much, Mr. Yunus, for coming in, taking your time out, of course, to speak to us, you know, to share with us your story and everything. And of course, we wish you tons and tons of luck in your future endeavors. And, you know, we just want and wish you the best of all. Asante sana.
Karibu.